Well, today is August 7th, Sunday. I'm going to keep this short for everyone because had things to do in my personal life. So we're going to review ChocoPro in Thailand. Yes, folks, you heard me right. ChocoPro in Thailand. If you guys know, the members of the Gatoh Move ChocoPro promotion head out to Thailand to participate in an event with Thailand promotion set up. Yes, folks, there is a promotion in Thailand in case anybody asks. So I'm not going to repeat this a bunch of times. Maybe a few, but not a bunch. So I'm excited because, as you know, if you guys know the history of Got to Move, that's where they originated from in Thailand. However, we're also going to be reviewing New Japan Pro Wrestling on day 13 in the G1 Climax. We're going to see what matches are going to be amazing to talk about. But also, I'm going to do a small discussion video about a Yoshi wrestler you may not have heard of, or maybe some of you may have. We're talking about Momoka Hanazono, who I feel like she is someone we definitely can enjoy watching because I personally enjoy watching her and her terror ways. And I'll explain that in a bit, but also a couple of news updates for everyone to know what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling, that is AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro in Thailand. Now, if you guys know this or not, Got to Move originated from Thailand years ago by Emi Sakura. I don't know how long she's been in Thailand doing this promotion until she made the move to back to Japan where it should be, and that's where ChocoPro has been. However, there's been talks that ChocoPro wants to go to Thailand. Well, Got to Move wanted to go to Thailand to do some events. Um, as you know, many of the roster members were already on the set. We had CDK, Tokyo Kihara, Hoshitango. Mei Shiruga was supposed to go, but however, she tested positive for COVID-19. But now she's okay. She's doing healthy. However, the timing of their trip took place some point at last month in June. Before I think they spent like maybe a week or a week and a half down there. I thought it was kind of interesting, but I did not anticipate that they were going to do a Choker Pro event because the promotion they were going to be competing is called Set Up Pro Wrestling. So I did not anticipate, but this is a scenario that I seen the people in Got to Move what they did. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, what was it back last year when Got to Move did the first annual Oak Tag League, which is one of a kind tag league. If you guys remember, um, Emi Sakura, Mei Shiruga, Balinaki, and Shiko Shikawa left Itching on Square to go to Michinoku Pro Wrestling, which is another promotion somewhere else. They did their show there, but they did a Choco Pro at their dojo because much of their events were done at their dojo during that time. So it makes perfect sense why they did it. So just to get a clear idea why they did a Choco Pro event show over where they're at while they were representing Got to Move. But now you know. Now our first match is tag team action. We got Tokiko Kihara teaming up with Hoshitango to take on the first ever female Thailand wrestler, Matcha, teaming up with Terry Diesel. Now, keep in mind, I don't know who these guys are, but they're kind of interesting to find out. Now, you probably would have assumed This Matcha would have been facing Tokyo Kahara. It would have, but however, she wanted to get in the face of Hoshitango. So basically, I hate to say this, but she started to act like Mei Shiruga, who has that same mentality with Hoshitango. Keep in mind, Mei Shiruga always try to get in Hoshitango's face, and Hoshitango takes great pleasure making fun of her for being short. So Macha has that same thing. But I have to say, Terry Diesel was one of those guys that's like, he's a rock star, and he is I think he is the current champion of setup, I think. But yeah, but it was a pretty good match, but I felt like their setup was a little, how to say, weird, because I'm already used of what they do at the Chocolate Square location, but it was okay. But it was Tokiko Kirihara who walked out as a victor when she pinned Macha after Terry Diesel accidentally misfired on Macha, losing the match. So it was kind of interesting. Macha was not happy with how Terry screwed up. Now, our next match, we have sort of the who is the best tag team in these two promotions. For the setup guys, we have Dr. Gore and Shivam taking on the current Asian Dream Tag Team Champions. This is a non-title match. CDK, Masahiro Takanashi, and Chris Brooks. I have to say, this match was okay. It wasn't like I said, the setting is a little weird for me, but they did the best they could. But it was, of course, Masahiro who picked up the win when he took out Dr. Gore, giving him the win. Of course, Shivam was like, can't believe that happened. So basically, we had two of the best tag teams in two different promotions colliding. So that's pretty okay. Now, as you know, with ChocoPro, we do the Jonkin tournament. So I kind of wondered, I wonder if these guys know how to do Jonkin. But the obvious thing to me as a fan, I think, okay, someone from ChocoPro has to win. There's no way the guys from Setup are going to walk out as the victors. But I was wrong. It was Shivam. He was in the finals against the veteran Masahiro Takanashi and won. It was kind of, dang, I can't believe that happened. So, but yeah. Now, do I think these guys are going to go back to Thailand? I'm sure. But however, they're coming up on the next episode, I will be doing their actual show they did for Setup. It's already been decided they're going to put this on their YouTube channel. I don't know if Setup has their own, but we'll see. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So I believe let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax. Okay, we are now in day 13 in the New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax 32. Opened up with the C block. We have Evil along with Dick Togo to take on United Empires and Aaron Henare. Now, you would have assumed in this particular match, half and half, I would say. Half of you would think Evil will win because of Dick Togo. Others are saying there's no way. United Empire is the strongest faction. That, I was a bit biased, to be honest with you, because there are a lot of good factors in this particular matchup. Like one, like I said, Dick Togo's there. He's there to help. But apparently it did not do any good because it pissed off Henare a bunch of times. But Evil had to do things his way, no matter what it took. But Aaron Henare, who has proven how big he is, but unfortunately ended up losing the match. So I just can't believe that happened. But I believe Evil currently, hold on a second, let's pull out my sheet. There's a separate sheet with the point system, I believe I have. Yeah. I like to keep things separate. Yeah, here it is. So right now, I believe Evil has, at this point, 4 points with 2 wins and 2 losses. Aaron Henare, well, I don't know if he's going to be out. He right now has 1 win and 4 losses, which is kind of like, okay, he could be on the border of not going any further in the tournament, which is okay. Now, our next match we have is the A block. We got Balak Fale versus Tom Lawler. Now, if you guys know this, the A block is known as the Monster block because the reason behind that is we got some huge individuals. But this is Tom Lawler's, I believe, I think this is Tom Lawler's 4th match in the G1. Now, I was like thinking, how is he going to defeat a big individual with bad luck Fale? That is the key thing. Now, keep in mind, the guy is an expert MMA fighter. You know he'll figure out a way. He choked him out. But it was a huge upset. I did not anticipate for Tom Lawler to walk out as the winner. I think it was a pretty good one. So, it was not the best, but a good one. So, he walked out with 2 points. So, he has 2 wins and 2 losses. So, he has a total of 4 points. Fale, 2 wins and 3 losses, 4 points. So, they're both okay. But anything after this, anything could change. Now let's jump into the D block. We got El Phantasmo versus Juice Robinson. Now you know this is a Bullet Club showdown. Juice Robinson even indicated El Phantasmo has never beaten him. That is somewhat true. But I was like thinking, okay, things could go a little chaotic for the ref. Now, these guys cheat all the time, and they took their frustrations out on the ref. It's like, of course they were going to cheat. Couldn't you just make this match into a no disqualification match? It would have been easier, but no. But I was like wondering, okay, who's going to walk out? As soon as the referee does not see what's going to happen, one of them is going to walk out, and it had to be Juice. So, yeah, it had to be Juice. So, Juice walked out with 2 wins and 3 losses. So, he's okay for now. But as for El Phantasmo, the same thing. 2 wins and 2 losses. So, they have both each a total of 4 points. Now, our B block, we have Chase Owens versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, this is a very interesting match. Not because of, some of you say Tomohiro Ishii is the baddest SOB on the planet. We can agree on that. But that's beyond the point. The point is, there is no way. This was a very interesting match. Chase Owens had to dig a lot more deeper than he's ever been in his entire life. Now, we know what Tomohiro Ishii can do. He can hurt you silly. But somehow he was able to overcome it. He applied the crown jewel, and it was over right from there. You would not anticipate that. Some people would call that an upset. So right now, this could be a perfect thing on his resume. He took out the Stone Pitbull. So I think Chase, in my opinion, could be one of those potential wrestlers that, we could see move up to the top. But right now, in what he has 2 wins and 3 losses with 4 points. Now, I don't know if he could win it all the way, but we'll see. As for Ishii, the same thing. He has 2 points with 1 win and 4 losses. So he could be on his way out. Now, our main event, we have Jonah versus Kazuchika Okada. Now, Lance Archer mentioned that he is hoping Jonah walks out. He wants Jonah. And I have to say, Okada had to dig a little more deeper than he's ever been. You're not dealing with no slouch. You're dealing with the top dog, a guy who goes out and takes out the best top wrestlers in any promotion. We witnessed that in Impact Wrestling with Josh Alexander. We've seen that many times. But I was impressed. He pulled off the torpedo, defeating Kazuchika Okada. Now, Okada, on the other hand, was undefeated in the tournament. This is his first big loss right now, and this is an upset. Okada right now, as you know, has 6 points, but now that he's defeated, he only has 1 loss. As for Jonah, I think he has 6 points with 3 wins and 1 loss, and I think this is good. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jonah, in the other hand, how to make it all the way to the finals. That is the one thing. But we will see what happens. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are. So I think that's it for the reviewing. I believe it's time to do a little DW discussion. Talk about this interesting Yoshi wrestler, Momoka Hanazono.
Get the guns, the drugs from my generation. I'll take the fall, the state, across the nation, and it's a sin. The cops, the fakes, the fraud, the messing with me. Come on, come on, come on, let's get it on. Move to the music, play that fucking music. Move it to the music, yeah. Move to my music, play that fucking music. Live through my music, yeah. Now get the guns, the drugs from my generation. I'll take the fall, the state, across the nation. And it's the sex, the god, the fakes, the fraud, they're messing with me. Come on, come on, come on, let's get it on. Move to the music, play that fucking music. Move it to the music, yeah. Move to my music, play that fucking music. Live through my music.
Okay, welcome to the DWZ Discussions. This is the very first time I ever get to talk about a Yoshi wrestler that maybe some of you may or may not have heard of. Now, some of you ask, who is Momoka Hanazono? She is this very interesting wrestler that I started getting into. Now, the first time I ever seen her is when she teamed up with Mei Shiruga and Oz Academy. Now, this is the basis of what I know about Momoka Hanazono. She's a freelancer wrestler. She goes bounce from different promotions. She's only 22 years old. That young. And my understanding, she only has 3 years of experience. She's from Osaka, Japan. Like I said, she appeared in Oz Academy, Michinoku Pro Wrestling, and other locations. But she mostly appears in Kollega Pro Wrestling, which is a promotion that is based out of Osaka, Japan, where she's from. Now, I've been hearing that she's been mostly taking gigs a lot more in her hometown of Osaka. Now, some people say that she's probably better off. Now, why do I find Momoka Hanazono very interesting? She's an absolute terror, but I'm not talking about evil terror. A terror where it's like you don't expect things for her. She's like a happy little girl, like, eh. But she does these unorthodox methods. For example, New Blood 2, she teamed up with Waka Tsukiyama. I wasn't paying attention much. She has like this little thing where bubbles come out. She has this little flower, and then she put out these pop-up streamers right in the face of Ami Sourei. I did not anticipate that. So that's why people are saying she's an absolute terror. She likes to do things unorthodox that I don't anticipate to do. However, she did not win that match with Waka because Waka got submitted by Mirai. But she has made appearances on many levels. She, like I said, she teams up with Mei Shiruga. Together, they're known as Momo Ringo. From my understanding, they had an opportunity to win tag team titles, but they lost. There was a moment where, of course, she was part of the #1 contendership with Oz Academy for the Pioneer Championship, because that particular match was funny because they took out Momoka completely. It was Mayumi Ozaki, the leader of Ozaki-gun, and Rina Yamashita. Ozaki took her out by doing like her finisher, but however, they tried to get back in the ring to pin her because she was still lying down like a duck. I was like thinking, God damn, she's still there. However, the referee was not paying attention to the fact that Momoka hasn't even moved out. But she ended up winning the match by countout. And I thought it was kind of like, what the fudge? She got a win by countout? And Rina and you were like, can't believe that they were lost to someone like Momoka. And I'm like thinking, wow, that is interesting. But now, recently, Momoka, as you know, has been nominated by Waka Tsukiyama once again to be her tag partner in New Blood 4. Now, why would Waka wants to team up with her? Well, they're both about almost similar experiences, like less of experience than they normally would. However, I think uh, Waka had tried to be taking things seriously, but I think she's going with a different approach because if you guys saw the press conference with Stardom for New Blood 3, Waka had these sunglasses being all smiled. She's like, that's what she was doing. And of course, I was enjoying the message that Momoka was saying to Hanazono. Now, it's not been officially translated. There is a blog that translates the the backstage, the promos, all of that. It hasn't been uploaded or updated or whatever. But I can tell by the look at her face, she's very excited for this particular match. You can see a clip where Waka's like, so I thought, like, oh my god, did Waka did she put a spell on Waka or something? But I thought it was interesting. But I did translate the last moment that that message in the press conference. She says, "Hey, Ramkaicho, I know you got a lot of white powder, but Waka and I have some really good stuff. Be prepared." So basically, as you know, I mentioned this. She has that little stick with bubbles, a little flower stuffy, and those pop-up streamers. But I have seen her with water guns, and I'm like, this is going to be interesting. I wonder what she's gonna bring, because like I said, she's an absolute terror. A lot of people I saw that comment on her during on the Cage Match website where they do reviews on wrestling promotions, matches. They're saying that she is a very fun, interesting individual. And I have to say, I agree. Because Momoka's a lot more different. She's like a little girl who wants to have a little fun, get away with things. If you guys know this or not, she's the leader of her own unit in Kolega Pro Wrestling called Hanazono Goon. But she's an absolute terror. And that's why I felt like people should get to know new wrestlers that you may not like. Now, if you guys never seen... you may see her on certain events, like I know she made appearances in one appearance in GLEAT, appearances in Pro Wrestling World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana. She normally makes appearances in Kolega Pro Wrestling. You can find that for free on YouTube. I don't know where other places. Oz Academy, yes. She even made on the last appearances for the Last Colors events, yes, My Way. But yeah, you should check them out. So she's a very interesting wrestler to enjoy. I think she's like a real fun one to enjoy. So I'm keeping this as an option for all of you guys if you're interested. Her name is Momoka Hanazono. So check her out. So I think that's pretty much it right now with this discussion. So let's move on with news updates. Okay. Excuse me. News updates. Now, here's some things that have been going on with WWE recently. What's been going on? First one, the USA Network requested for WWE Raw to have a world title more regularly in Raw. Keep in mind, there hasn't been a championship in Raw since Vince decided to put Roman Reigns as double champion. They've been mostly focused on SmackDown, so this is not the first time where the network has been upset with Vince. So it looks like this idea could come in fruition because of one particular person, and that is Karrion Kross. So this idea was pitched to bring Karrion Kross back, knowing that there is a possibility that Roman Reigns could lose both titles, but not at the same time. So as you know, we will see Drew McIntyre challenged for the SmackDown title, so the Universal title. But that is one of the things we do know that is related to this. So this will be interesting. Now, unrelated to, of course, WWE, um, Triple H has said on a interview or whatever sources were saying, I don't remember where it's coming from, that Triple H wants to move WWE away from sports entertainment to pro wrestling. Now, this is something that I have talked about in the past, where WWE says if you love pro wrestling, you shouldn't be here in WWE. WWE are more of a sports entertainment type of promotion. This is something similar that I talked about at Risk Girls, where now they're becoming entertainment instead of pro wrestling. But the only difference is now that things are changing. Now, as you know, that many of the people that Triple H has recruited are all pro wrestlers from the independents. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know how Vince would take it, but I'm sure he will not take this kindly. Now, our next update. We has been confirmed for a tag team title match taking place in GCW's Homecoming Part 2 on the 14th. We got Los Macizos, Ciclopse and Miedo Extremo taking on a very unlikely duo, Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch. Now, keep in mind, the only reason I say this is because they hate each other. Murdoch feels that, GCW has stepped away from what death matches was back then, and Alex Colon feels you're in my house stepping into someone else's shoes, because Alex Colon has proven he's been there. John Wayne Murdoch's been gone for 2 years. So that's the reason why it happened. Now, it's been announced by Gatoh Move for their upcoming event, #Phoenix Rises. This is going to take place on the 15th of September. Yuna Mizumori will take on Mei Suruga. Now, these two have faced off many times before in tag team action. I don't know about singles, but this is going to be a very interesting match to enjoy. Now, as you know, we are getting closer and closer to NWA 74th. It was announced for the upcoming tournament, the Burke Invitational. Now, those who don't know, what the hell is the Burke? It's the NWA Women's Championship. Basically, there's going to be a somewhat of a tournament or rumble or whatever, where we're going to see women compete for a chance to challenge Camille for this title. And they announced Maddie Rinkowski to participate. I'm very happy for her. As you know, she had made previous appearance in NWA in the past. I don't know who else is going to be in it, but I can say congratulations, Maddie Rinkowski. Now, for all of you All Japan Pro Wrestling fans, you guys may have heard the news. Those who don't, here it is. They're going to have an AEW superstar make their appearance, and that is the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. He'll be making appearances in All Japan Pro Wrestling on the 18th and 19th of September. Now, some of you can question, wait a minute, why is Christopher Daniels going to All Japan Pro Wrestling? Some of you probably question, wouldn't he be better off with New Japan? No. All AEW are always open to work with anybody. It doesn't matter which promotion. Hell, they could work with Pro Wrestling Noah, as we know. But I have to say, seeing Daniels in All Japan, this is going to be a much interesting development. I can't wait to see it. Now, relation to New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was announced that former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion and Tag Team Champion Robbie Eagles has made a surprise win in CMLL event, and he has challenged for the World Middleweight Championship from Dragon Rojo Jr. I'm like, whoa, this is going to be good. Now, some of you haven't seen Robbie Eagle for quite some time, but I feel like he's been doing a lot of wrestling outside of New Japan, and going to CL, it's going to be interesting. So I can't wait to see it. I'm not sure if I can actually see the match itself, but I'll be following once it happens. So I think that's pretty much it with our news updates. I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we got AEW Dark Elevation. And of course, I mentioned ChocoPro, Gatoh Move will be uploading their their trip in Thailand where they appeared in Setup Pro Wrestling. I'm excited for that too. If there's any other events going on that I will throw in, I'll do those too. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.